Hey everybody, I'm DJ Sixsmith. You're watching The Sit Down. Time to talk about a brand new documentary to be of service. Josh Aronson, Greg Kolodziejczyk. Guys, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
A couple New Yorkers here. Good to have you here.
Great.
So let's talk about the film. Josh, let's start with you. How did this whole thing come together? Because it's PTSD, it's talking about vets like Greg. This is a big, meaty topic.
Yeah.
How did you decide to get into it?
Yeah. Well, someone brought me the story, who's the co-producer of the film. Julie Sayers is her name, who's a friend. And she brought me this story and talked about how powerful dogs were, service dogs were, in healing veterans, bringing healing qualities to veterans with PTSD. And I looked into it, and I started to meet vets, I started to read, and as I went deeper into it in my research, I got more and more engaged with it, and I realized how powerful a modality of treatment it was. And I learned that the veterans, many veterans across the country, were reporting that the VA was not doing enough. They were over-medicating them. Their therapy in places was good. Greg, in fact, says his therapist was quite good for years at the VA, but we're here in New York City, which has a major VA. Right. And there's thousands of VAs, and a lot of them are not doing a great job. And so veterans would tell me they'd go for their appointment, and the vet would be, the therapist would be 4 hours late, or the therapist had moved on, or someone else filled in. So you have to start over again every time, and it's not a good way for treatment. And the problem with meds has been huge. Probably the 50 people we interviewed in the film said at one point they were over-medicated by the VA. And one of our experts, who's a psychiatrist and works with trauma victims, has said that he's actually testified against the VA in terms of over-medication. Yeah, that was a really big moment in the documentary. Yeah. And Greg, for you, you're really open and honest about your PTSD, your struggle since you come home. Val comes into your life and really changes things up. What were the biggest changes when she's there?
I mean, off the bat, I mean, the biggest problem with having PTSD is the isolation that we put ourselves through. We withdraw from society, we withdraw from our families. We basically just kind of live like hermits, and that was the issue with me. I was totally isolated. You know, my doctors used to speak up about it, and I wouldn't get out of contact with them for a month at a time. I wouldn't go to the VA. I was totally withdrawn, just totally, you know, phone off, everything, just wouldn't be bothered with anything. And even, you know, at certain points towards the end, when it was getting worse, I would only leave my house for maybe a day or two, going to the VA appointments only. And on that particular day, I would do food shopping, and that was it. And usually if there was more than one day in a week, I would need 3 days in between to recover from the first day to kind of get up for the next day. And once I got him, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, I live on the beach. One of the things was that I wanted to start going back to the beach, which was a big issue for me. And you know, he needed, you have responsibilities. He needed to be walked. So right away I was out of the house more. And you know, in the very beginning I was doing the very minimal, the 3 walks, whatever, that I was doing at the school that he had a schedule. Then all of a sudden, as he got into the neighborhood, he began to kind of have his own little rituals and stuff. So a new schedule came about. So this way, I was out walking him a lot. I'm fortunate to have in my community a private dog park with, you know, nice landscaping and stuff. So I was out for, you know, about half an hour, 2-3 times a day. And then about a month and a half into it, we have the biggest dog park in New York, freeway dog run in Rockaways, and I remember going the first time with a hood on. Yeah. You know, just try not to be engaged with anyone. Let him. He started getting engaged with the other dogs. People started coming over, and little by little, you know, now we're up to about 2 hours a day.
That's awesome.
And you know, it's amazing. I mean, he eventually got me through my treatment, and having him, and you know, to console me, I finally got up to the beach after about a 2-year exercise program where I was getting closer and closer, and you know, he finally got me to the beach. So we were out on the beach in the morning. So between the beach about 2 hours a day, the dog park about 2 hours a day. So that's just enough, you know, getting me out into the community, engage with people. The people I met in the dog park, you know, made friends. So you know, we go out once in a blue moon, which I never did. So you know, so my social network kind of expanded a little bit.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Do you still need the same time to recover when you go to the beach or you go to the dog
park?
Oh,
no, actually, that's the other thing, is that, you know, having him is that no longer. The only time I really still need a little bit more, actually he does that too, because it's very taxing for both of us. There's a lot of commands involved when we're out in public. You know, people want to engage in people, you know, plus, you know, I have to walk him this way, that way. I have to look ahead of us if there's any where I am, there's squirrels and stuff, or other dogs. I have to tell them to omit them, to disregard them. I have to tell them to kind of, you know. So there's a lot of commands on him where he has to react 1, 2, 3. It's like a machine gun kind of command. And then so for him, like see right now, he's kind of, he knows that I'm engaged
Just
with you.
out here, yeah.
I'm engaged with you, so he knows I'm safe because I'm engaged with you. He doesn't have to check in on me. So he's going to take every little moment he can in the day when he's working just to relax.
Yeah, because he has to be on his guard all day long.
And same for me. When I go back home, I have him, so no longer. The only time is after the VA, usually being out. A little more stressful because I drive in and stuff. That's a little bit more, but then he'll come over by the couch after we come home and I'm eating, whatever. And we'll just lay down on the floor for a little while and kind of just, you know, have a little moment. But no longer is that. My normal routine is absolutely just a routine. I come home, he goes his way, I go my way. In the beginning, it was kind of as such.
A little touch and go.
There was
first.
a little there was a little both kind of staying with each other, and now it's just gotten to a point that you know, I really do not need, for most part, that kind of involvement from him.
That's great.